Nuanced nostalgia, it's a 90s vibe. Come and tap in, we keeping it live. Nuanced nostalgia, it's the 90s vibe. Come and tap in, we keeping it live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Nuanced Nostalgia. I'm Nick Norris, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Caitlin, the young Kirsten Dunst Jordan.
I always wonder which middle name I'm going to have this time. I love her.
Yeah, so we are talking about this week Jumanji from 1995, the original, starring Robin Williams, Bonnie Hunt, and a young Kirsten Dunst.
I saw her and I was like, I recognize her.
You said, that's MJ.
That? Well, at first I was like, I recognize her, but I don't know how. And then I was like, oh, yeah, that's definitely MJ from the original Spider-Man.
Yeah. Which we usually hold off on the episodes we're doing until the end of the episode, but I think we've decided
start that next week, honestly.
Yeah, so we have 3 episodes left before we go on break for vacation.
Yeah,
and there's 3 Spider-Man movies.
Oh, so then we're doing.
So you want to do those? So what we'll do the next 3 weeks? We'll do Spider-Man 2002 or 2001, and then Spider-Man 2, and then Spider-Man 3, the Tobey Maguire.
The Tobey Maguire was pre-Marvel.
Yes, pre the merger. With the Marvel. So, I'm really looking forward to that. But today, talking about Jumanji. This was actually recommended to us by Nick Opolewski at nuancednostalgiapod@gmail.com. You can also send us stuff there or on the Facebook page, Twitter. We have our TikTok up, and I think there'll be some TikToks of this episode put up finally. So, also Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Yeah. Our New Year was a lot. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Our New Year was a lot. We obviously were on vacation and went to Gatlinburg. Got absolutely obliterated twice. Me twice.
Yeah.
But like the first, and we said we're actually never getting that drunk ever again in our whole lives. That's how bad it was.
Yeah. Not to get all into it, but we ran into some really rude people, and it was just a horrible time.
No,
I shouldn't say that. The night itself was fun. The stuff me and you did together, but there was one place in particular, and I don't want to say what place.
And it wasn't obviously on them, but I think it was just like the people that were there at the time.
It was so many just rude men. It was wild. But before that, we went to another place, and there were some really nice women who would
like pay for our like cover for the moonshine.
Yeah,
so
just being friendly.
Don't know what your name was. I never found out.
We never traded names. We talked for an hour and a half.
So long.
They
I'm
were
so bad
great.
about that.
Yeah, I am too.
But anyway, overall it was fun, just despite being like hungover AF, like aggressively, violently hungover. But other than that, it was great. And me throwing up the next morning. But it's all right.
You did. That's a rookie move right there. It's embarrassing.
Not even the night of. The next morning.
Yeah.
Anyway, not related to that. This is my new addition from that trip.
One of like 6 new additions from that trip.
Yeah, I went to Gatlinburg and I said, I don't want nothing Gatlinburg themed. I just need the toys.
If you don't mind me asking, how much money do you think you spent on stuffed animals?
I think it probably consider like this came out with the 2 other ones. I think it might be close to like 150.
Yeah.
I
bought you one,
and I don't care because it was worth
it. Yeah.
Anyway, so that was our time. It was good, but here we are back in the real world.
Yeah, and we're talking about Jumanji. This movie terrified me as a kid, and
you saw this when you were younger.
Yes, and I haven't watched it like since then. I watched it when I was like 7 or 8, and I remember it being so scary. And watching it now, obviously, it's not scary, but for a kids movie, there's some pretty dark themes, some pretty intense stuff. Mm-hmm. Kids getting locked away for 30 years in a board game and attacked by bees that paralyze you. People were like having seizures. There's some pretty like, if you're a kid watching this, you're like, oh, this is horrible.
This is wild. Well, I obviously knew that the original Jumanji had Robin Williams in it, R.I.P.
Right.
And I had known that. Oh, and then the whatever her name is, Sarah is
Bonnie Hunt.
Is definitely in Sabrina too.
I looked at that. She's not, but she's in a lot of stuff. She is in because we both recognized her immediately. Yeah. She's in all kinds of stuff. She does a ton of voice work for a lot of Disney and Pixar stuff. But she also is in like The Green Mile and I got our whole list here. The Green
I
Mile,
definitely
Jerry
don't.
Maguire, Rain Man, Cheaper by the Dozen.
Cheaper by the Dozen.
Yeah.
I think that's where I recognize her. Yeah.
You'd recognize her from a lot of things, and she guests in a lot of things too. But yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So where was I going with that? Oh, anyway, my main point, I guess, about all of that was that I knew that, you know, he was in the original one, Robin Williams, and then, you know, I was saying to you, I have only seen the 2019 I guess it's a reboot.
Yeah, so it's a direct sequel because they mentioned
it's a direct
Alan.
sequel.
But
okay.
yeah, there's the 2017 Welcome to the Jungle, then 2019 The Next Level.
Oh, you know what? Okay. I think because you were saying someone in, I guess, this movie or whatever says that it mutates to kind of like.
Yeah, I guess they don't say it in this movie. Maybe they say it in the 2017 one, but like the Jumanji itself like can change, like,
so that's why the next one's
itself.
a video game, and then they go into the video game.
Yeah, I think that's the story. If I'm wrong, comment and let us know. But yeah, I think that's what it is.
Because like the whole time I was like, so when do they go to the board game?
Yeah,
because I'm like I said, I've only seen that one, so I didn't know that like things out of the board game you just go into the real world.
Mm-hmm.
So that was news to me.
So it's a little different. So the video game ones, they get sucked into the video game one. In this one, it's like the board game comes into the real world.
Right.
But I mean, Robin Williams gets sucked into the board game, so it can go both ways. But yeah.
But then why don't they get sucked into the board game this time?
Probably because of budgetary reasons. It's also based on a book, and this is kind of how the book goes.
It was based on a book.
So,
anyway, I just had to get out because I was just confused. I didn't know that this was the plot of it, honestly.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. Speaking of the plot, I'll go over it really quick. Just do the rough summary. A magical board game unleashes a world of adventure on siblings Peter, played by Bradley Pierce, and Judy Shepard, played by Kirsten Dunst. While exploring an old mansion, the youngsters find a curious jungle-themed game called Jumanji in the attic. When they start playing, they free Alan Parrish, played by Robin Williams, who's been stuck in the game's inner world for decades, 26 years to be exact. If they win Jumanji, the kids can free Alan for good and get rid of all the crazy things in the world that they have released. But that means braving giant bugs, ill-mannered monkeys, and even stampeding rhinos.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. And this was 95?
95.
So we weren't alive yet.
No.
But so aside from that, everything looks absolutely insane. Like the special effects.
The special effects in this, they look worse when you consider that Jurassic Park came out a few years before this, and that movie looks incredible.
Right.
But this didn't probably have the budget of that, and also Jurassic Park shot at night for a lot of their CGI, where this is in the day close up with fur. And scales are a lot easier to do than fur. So the monkeys look really bad. When the kid gets sucked into the board game, it looks really bad. But there's some things that look really good. Like there's where the stampede crushes the car. That still holds up. That still is pretty good. That was like at the time that was like a huge deal. Like, oh my gosh, that's so and that still looks pretty good. You can tell some things they put more time and money into than others, and the technology obviously just wasn't.
And I will say, I have no like expertise.
Yeah,
I have no. I'm just looking at how bad the monkeys looked.
Yeah,
like it was like it was like a mobile game.
Yeah,
and I just kept looking at it. I was like, you can so obviously tell, and obviously like it's come so far since '95,
right?
So now we're used to like things that look so incredible.
Yeah,
like the whole movie of Avatar 2.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm used to something that looks like that.
But, you don't get that unless you go through these growing pains with something like Jumanji.
That's fair.
Yeah. The technology has to have time. Yeah.
Well, so anyway, I mean, in hindsight, obviously it looks terrible. But at the time, I'm sure it was like, wow.
Well, in addition to, this being sort of, this is in that pioneering era of movies using CGI. But that also means it's the pioneering era of actors acting against nothing, acting against CGI.
Yeah.
And that's something Robin Williams talked about in an interview. He said, it was really difficult trying to act when there's nothing there in front of you. You're basically just having to hallucinate the scene. And so, and now actors are trained to do that. But at the time, this was pretty new stuff. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So there you go.
I had the Jumanji board game as a kid.
Were you scared to play it?
Yes, I was. I think I opened it once and then I closed it up, put it in my closet, and didn't open it again. Yeah.
It's kind of a terrible thing to put out, like a terrible piece of merch to put out, because it's like the movie is about if you play it, bad things happen.
It made, I saw the number, I didn't write it down, but they made a ton of money off the board games for this.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I have one actual piece of trivia here. So one of the screen used versions of the board game, so it was in the movie, It sold on eBay in 2014 for $60,800.
I mean, rich people, like, is that what we're spending money on?
Yeah.
Really? What are you gonna do? Look at it?
Put it in a case and
Or just look at it,
show
I
it off,
guess.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess you could say the same thing about like toys, but like still.
Well, this Barbie was $7 at the thrift store, and that was $60,000. So it's a little different, you know.
I don't know. I just 60. What is it? 60,000?
$60,800.
It's like more than a car.
Yeah, it's more than a truck or an SUV.
It's out of hand.
Yeah.
I can't.
So this movie, like we said, it had several sequels. The one that I like, the only other sequel that I've seen is Zathura from 2005.
That's a sequel?
So there's a gray area. It's made by the same people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same premise,
Mm-hmm.
the same company, but maybe it's not in the same universe. It's not really clear. But essentially, it's the same thing except it's space Jumanji.
Yeah.
So it's like sci-fi and stuff, and it's really good. It's really fun. So maybe we'll come back to it eventually.
But I wonder if, I don't know, is it just like in the same universe but a different game, or like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's kind of it would at least be a different game,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's this. It's made by the same people, so they could easily tie it in if it's not tied in already.
Who's to say?
Yeah. Good movie though. I like Zathura a lot.
I haven't seen that one.
So good thing about this movie, it's only an hour 40 minutes, which we always appreciate a shorter movie. Yeah.
That's so true.
Robin Williams, charming as always, brings a lot of emotion to this character that I think very few people could.
Yeah.
Because there's a
He's
lot
kind
of
the worst person, honestly. At first, he's like, "This is my house now." To these
oh
children.
yeah. Well, he's he's been traumatized, and he's been a jungle man for 30 years.
I guess so. Yeah, but like,
and has the mind of a 13-year-old.
Like, sir, I will literally arrest you. I will call the police right now.
But he's for somebody that's like that, he's pretty well adjusted. He's nice.
Worse,
he's helpful. He doesn't just abandon the kids. He helps them out.
That's true.
But he brings a lot of emotion to this character that I think when I get to the alternate casting, you'd be like, oh yeah, that would not have worked. Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, I know Robin Williams because the one movie I watched when I was younger is RV.
Yeah.
With Robin Williams,
big rolling turd.
JoJo and little Josh Hutcherson. That's how I know of him since I was, or like that was the one movie I watched with him in it when I was younger.
Yeah.
So everything I think about is related to that movie.
I saw RV in theaters. I love RV. I did. Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I thought it was so funny when I was younger. But anyway, that's how I know him. And so to see him in other things is like weird. Obviously, that's not his like.
I'm about to say he's in so many things.
That's not his one thing, obviously, that he's known for.
Yeah. I'd say that's the movie he's least known for.
I would agree. Because it's like Jumanji, and then it's like Flipper. Is that the one?
There's a lot of stuff. He's I mean, he's the genie in Aladdin. He's
you're right. He sure is. Yeah.
He's in a lot of stuff. So, and he's in some more serious ones too. Mrs. Doubtfire's in that. He's in all kinds of stuff.
That's true. Well, you know what? We've already established that I don't know really good movies. If it's a good movie and it's a classic, guaranteed I haven't seen it. Yeah. So this is helping me with that, I think.
Bonnie Hunt is great in this. Like we said, she's in all kinds of stuff. Jerry Maguire, the Green Mile, etc.
I was convinced that she was in Sabrina's Teenage Witch, but
I looked it up, and that's a common misconception because her and the other woman look so similar.
Yeah. But she probably doesn't make sense.
13-year-old Kristen Dunst, she's great in this as well. This is one of her first breakout roles, and after this, she kind of snowballed and kept getting more bigger and bigger roles until she got MJ. Yeah, and then she's like 42 now, I think I read.
Oh, really?
So that's great. So they nearly brought her back for their most recent Spider-Man, but because of COVID restrictions, it just didn't work out. So hoping we'll get her in soon in the multiverse thing. I think we will.
Oh yeah, because they're doing that whole.
Yeah. I'd like to see her back. It's MJ. She's a good MJ. So.
Yeah. I mean, I love Zendaya, but
oh yeah, well they're both good. They need to meet. They need to meet and hang out in the multiverse thing. Yeah. The box office on this, on a budget of $65 million, it made $262 million. So, like we always say, usually double the budget for marketing. So it's probably more like $140 million, but still a ton of money. So it's crazy it took so long to get a sequel. But Robin Williams is pretty adamant about not ever wanting to do sequels. He did very few of them. He didn't like doing sequels. And that probably played into it.
That?
Yeah.
Why?
It was just something he just didn't like doing them. He always wanted to do like something new and different. So I think it's
More
fair.
people should listen
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah. There are exceptions. He's done some sequels. I know he came back and voiced the genie in another thing and some other stuff, but yeah, he usually prefers to kind of just do something new and fresh, which probably should be everything.
Probably should do that.
Yeah. So some IMDb trivia. You ready for this?
Let's hear it.
Okay, great. Robin Williams was beloved by Keene, New Hampshire townsfolk during filming. He was even presented with the keys to the city by Keene's mayor in 1994. After his death in 2014, Keene residents crafted a makeshift memorial of flowers and candles below the Paris Shoes sign, which still stands today, and even organized a public screening of the film.
Is this where that was where it was filmed?
It's where it was filmed and set.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, the shoe factory. They kept the sign up. They're like, "This is cool. Let's keep it up."
Wow.
And then, yeah, when he passed away, they put a big memorial out in front of it, which is
R.I.P.
very nice. Yeah. Joe Johnston had reservations over casting Robin Williams because of the actor's reputation for improv, fearing that he wouldn't adhere to the script. However, Williams understood that it was a tightly structured story and generally filmed the scenes as outlined in the script. But where he was allowed to improvise, usually in scenes with Bonnie Hunt, he would often film duplicate scenes.
I think that one scene where they were like arguing while the kids were about to roll again, that felt very improvised in a good way.
Yeah, it could have been.
Like arguing back.
The most famous improvised scene from this is by the little boy, and it's when they go to see Bonnie Hunt's character, and Robin Williams or somebody asks, like, "You think she'll even know where Sarah lives?" And she's like, "Of course he does. She will. She's a psychic." And he improvised that. It's pretty good for like a 13-year-old, you know. According to author Chris Van Allsburg, the word Jumanji is Zulu for many effects, which alludes to the exciting consequences of the game as mentioned in the film. I like how they just said, according to the author. I guess they didn't fact check it. They're like, it might. I don't know
it
Zulu.
Could, yeah. Who's to say?
Yeah.
Not us. We looked for this fact, but who's to say if it's true? We'll just tell it to you. That's funny.
Bradley Pierce, the little boy, he underwent 3 hours of applying prosthetic makeup for his scenes as a monkey for about 15 to 20 days.
And it still looked bad.
He enjoyed going through the process and wearing the makeup, though, he said, which is rare because usually all actors hate it.
I mean, just because it takes so long, probably, but it doesn't. I mean, you could definitely tell it's makeup, which, whatever, I guess. But
yeah,
like, ugh.
It's allegedly better now to have to do that because at least you can like have your phone and hold it in front of your face. But back then, you would have just been sitting there.
Oh, they didn't have cell phones.
It's 95. They didn't have smartphones.
Maybe they could play Tetris on their little flip
No,
phones.
they didn't. No.
What did they do? Look at the newspaper.
Yeah. Read comics.
That's weird. Like a barbarian. Oh my god.
To film the rhinoceros stampede, the production crew rigged a hydraulic ram to launch a steel rhinoceros through the wall of the library. The steel rhino was replaced by a herd of animals with CGI during post-production. It's pretty crazy.
Wild.
Yeah. Kirsten Dunst and Bonnie Hunt greatly enjoyed working with Robin Williams as he made everyone laugh on set. Dunst particularly liked his impression of Jodie Foster in Nell, 1994, ordering at a drive-thru. That's fun, Robin Williams.
That's a little bit going over my head.
Well, that would have been very timely because that would have been like the year it came out.
Yeah, and if that is supposed to be a really famous movie, I'm so sorry.
No, it's not. It's not a must see. It's okay. Yeah. While filming the stunt where the monkey is still a police car, stunt woman Betty Thomas Quee lost control of the car and hit a tree at 60 miles per hour. Luckily, she was not injured. Director Joe Johnston had to plead with paparazzi who filmed the accident not to release it to the news.
Wild.
Yeah. Also, maybe
it's crazy that they actually didn't, or maybe they did.
Yeah. I mean, found out eventually. So
people these days have been like, "Good, I'm
it would have been on Twitter that second. Yeah, and reshared 1,000 times, and TMZ would have
gone on TikTok. Like, look at this. Yeah, that's funny.
I guess it was a simple.
They didn't have the internet back then.
Yeah, not really. Yeah.
Well, maybe they did.
Not very good
they didn't
internet.
Have Google.
No.
Yeah. It's wild. How did anyone do anything? Whatever. I would hate to live in that world. I can't lie.
In that world, the far flung
Not
past
long
of
ago.
1995. You'd hate to live in that world.
Before I was alive.
Less than 30 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Could you even imagine not being able to like just simply find something on Google? Or like if you had to go somewhere you didn't know where to go, how would you like a map to get somewhere? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
People had to always get because you had to someone obviously be the navigator and then you were the driver and they
Had to actually pay attention to the signs.
That. I remember my parents used to have to do that. And it seemed very stressful. I would have absolutely hated that.
Yeah.
So thank God for technology.
What are you gonna do one day if you're driving somewhere and your phone goes out and
I'll be
GPS?
SOL.
Yeah.
I'll be SOL.
You're not gonna stop and get a map?
I suppose I would have to at that point.
Yeah.
But
Would you be able to read it? Do you think you can read a map?
I think I would have no choice. I'd have to learn at that point.
Yeah. It's an important skill to be able to read a map.
I'm sure I could figure it out, but I'm glad that in general we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah, me too. I'd hate that. Yeah.
And remember when people had to print out MapQuest?
Mm-hmm.
That's a little better at least, but
Yeah.
if you took one wrong turn, you can't like recalculate. It's fucked. Anyway, shout out to the internet and Google.
Shout out to the internet. Gotta be one of my favorite things.
For sure.
It is not known. This is crazy to me, this one. It's not known who played the gun shop owner's assistant, Louise, in the movie, and the actress is not credited in the end credits. To this day, the actress's identity remains a mystery.
Why? Like, I'm not understanding.
I mean, I guess she could have died in the time since, and
But
nobody
why was she
claimed
not
it.
credited at the
I don't
time?
know. That's crazy. And she doesn't have any lines, but like they linger on her character. Like I remember seeing her in the movie.
Like, was she a criminal?
No, she's like, like in real life.
Yeah. Like, why would
Maybe.
they not credit her? That doesn't make any sense.
It had to just been like a local person stand in, and they just maybe never got her name.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Don't love that.
it's not fair. Yeah, hope she got paid at least. Probably not. Though.
She got money.
All right, you ready for some alternate casting?
Sure.
Okay, so for the role of Alan Parrish, who of course went to Robin Williams, these are the people that were considered.
Mhm.
Tim Allen.
Of course it was.
That would not have been
I mean,
good.
it wouldn't have been good, but also, of course, like he was one of them. I feel like they're like
Yeah.
very Robin Williams is better. But
Yeah.
I feel like they have like similar typecast.
Dan Aykroyd,
Oh,
Ghostbusters, and Christopher
Christopher
Craig's.
Craig's.
Yeah.
okay, that would have been weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges. That one's interesting.
What does he look like?
Like a cowboy. He's always in westerns. He's got the goatee,
I wish I could know
handlebar
what his face looked
mustache,
like.
gray. Alec Baldwin, Bruce Campbell, Nicolas Cage, Chevy Chase.
Nicolas Cage and Chevy Chase would have been bad,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Nicolas Cage would have been really bad.
Yeah. Alec Baldwin, it would have been just like decent, but like he ends up shooting someone.
This one, yeah. This one would have been good. Bryan Cranston. He could have done it.
Who was that?
Walter White. From Breaking Bad, the Breaking Bad guy.
Oh, let me see what his face looks like.
You know what he looks
I
like.
don't.
Malcolm in the Middle's dad. He plays like a good, funny dad. I think he would have been good at this.
This is probably not great that I don't know what he looks like. Let me look at his face right now.
While you do that, I'm going to rattle the rest of these through. Kevin Costner, Billy Crystal, Robert De Niro, Michael Douglas, Bill Paxton, Rupert Everett, Richard Dreyfuss, Harrison Ford, which that would have been great and crazy.
Well, we love Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So.
He would have probably never done it. Andy Garcia, Richard Gere, Mel Gibson, John Goodman would have been really good.
Why was there so many different alternate castings?
I don't know. It's crazy. There's so many more. Steve Guttenberg, Woody Harrelson, Michael Keaton, Kevin Kline, Steve Martin.
Keaton.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Bill Murray, Sean Penn, Gary Oldman,
Bill
Rick
Murray.
Moranis, Dennis Quaid, Kurt Russell. That would have been good. Martin Sheen, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone.
Arnold Schwarzenegger wouldn't have worked. Sylvester Stallone wouldn't have worked either.
And this is, in my opinion, be the worst one, John Travolta.
That truly,
Yeah.
I think he's about as bad as Nicolas Cage.
John Travolta has had so many chances to redeem himself, and he just blows it every time. Like he did Grease, and he did Pulp Fiction, and outside of that, everything has been terrible.
And he did Hairspray,
Yeah,
but he wasn't like him. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm still on these. Like, first of all, why was there so many? That's like kind of ridiculous. But What was it? What was the one you were talking about?
Bryan Cranston.
Brian
I love Bryan Cranston. He's great. He's very versatile.
Cranston.
He's good at comedy. He's good at serious. He could have brought that emotional kind of humor to this, I think, for sure.
Well, I really don't know who that is. I'm trying to look it up.
Never watched Breaking Bad, Malcolm in the Middle? Neither of
No,
those?
I have not.
Really?
Yeah. Which I know a lot of people have. I'm sorry. A lot of people have.
Yeah. He's the dad in Godzilla 2014. He's in a lot of stuff. Okay, he was the villain in the Power Rangers back in the day. Yeah.
No, obviously, like, if any of those had been true, like, we obviously, wouldn't have known anything different. But I think 100% Robin Williams works the best.
Yeah, he does. He does. This is his role. He does a great job.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson auditioned for the role of Judy, the little girl. Which would have been cool. Tim Curry had discussions for the part of Van Pelt. And then for Sarah Whittle,
who's Tim Curry?
Tim Curry. Yeah, you're just going to have to Google it. You got to keep it moving.
You're supposed to explain everyone to me.
And then this is all the ones for Sarah Whittle, who, of course, went to Bonnie Hunt. Julia Roberts, Jodie Foster, Sandra Bullock, Madonna, Demi Moore.
Madonna.
Demi
Moore wouldn't have worked.
Michelle Pfeiffer, Meg Ryan, Sharon Stone, Jennifer Tilly, Aaliyah Thompson, Jane Leaves, Joan Cusack, Daryl Hannah, Helen Hunt, Julianne Moore, Heather Locklear, Sharon Lawrence, Kelly Preston, Terry Hatcher, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Jennifer Grey, Rebecca De Mornay, Courtney Thorne-Smith, and Jamie Lee Curtis as well.
Jamie Lee Curtis, give me a break. I don't think she would have worked either. I love her, but I don't think it would have worked.
Yeah, but I mean, the woman doesn't really play a very humorous role. She's just kind of traumatized, and we know she can play traumatized very well from the Halloween movies.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And she's funny in Christmas and the Cranks.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like she needed to have like longer hair. And needed to be like this like witchy like woman, like a Wiccan type woman. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't picture that for Jamie Lee Curtis. But maybe she would have done it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we could have had a scenario where we had Arnold and Jamie Lee Curtis teaming up for Jumanji. We missed out on that.
There was this other movie that they were both in.
Arnold?
Yeah.
And Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah. No, I couldn't tell you what the name of it is, but I know they were in it.
How about you look it up while I continue here?
Okay.
That's actually all the IMDb trivia. So while Caitlin is looking that up, I'm going to tell you how you can reach us on the show. Like we said, the next 3 weeks it's going to be Spider-Man centric. I've got my little Spider-Man right here. This is from that 2000s era too, so I'll have to have it up. He used to have a motorcycle. He'd ride on his little motorcycle.
Did.
Yeah.
Wow, he's really like
he is jacked.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, he is.
Like
he is
Superman level jacked.
muscular. Yeah, so I'm excited for that. But if you have any suggestions for us, like Nick did, and thank you, Nick, for sending that in.
You know what? I'm going to interrupt. It was called True Lies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember the plot of it, but I do remember that I have watched it.
We should get around to True Lies eventually.
I think it was
a good movie.
Yeah, okay, so it was a spy.
Yeah.
He was a spy, and then his wife does something. I don't know.
We'll get around to it eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was a 90s movie.
We could have got them teaming back up for Jumanji. We're this close.
Would have been weird.
It would have been good.
However they did it, it works how it is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. 100%. If you'd like to reach the show, though, you can do so at Nuanced Nostalgia Pod at Gmail. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Nuanced Nostalgia Pod. You can find me everywhere at Nick North06. Find Caitlin everywhere at Caitlin Shorts.
Correct.
And
like, comment, subscribe.
Yes, like, comment, subscribe.
Share.
Give us your money. We don't have a Patreon.
We're gonna go ahead and leave our Venmo and Cash App.
Yeah.
Just send us $1.
$1. If 1 million people give us $1, that's
we'll
like
be rich.
That's like $1 million. If you think about it.
It's crazy unless they all give us a cent.
Oh no, that's less money. I don't want less money. A little more. All right. Well, as we always in the show, the music actually started on time this time.
Oh, wow.
It's the Jumanji theme. It's not the most iconic theme, I'll be honest.
It's not,
you know.
But,
Dun, 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 dun. I can't wait for that Spider-Man theme next week, though.
Oh my god.
So good. It's pretty intense. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.